Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's pre-market prep, brought to you by MarketFi. I'm on the line with Dan Karpuc, and he is TradeSport.com's director of content and TradeSportsInsider.com's editor. He's a frequent contributor to the Huffington Post, and his writing has been featured on numerous sports outlets across the web. Dan, how you doing this morning?
I'm great, great. Glad to be with you on this beautiful morning. Hope your morning's going well, just like mine is.
Yeah. So us traders, when the markets are closed on Thursday, if we're not trading the foreign markets, we're kind of figuring out what to do. And boy, there's a lot of sports action going on, starting with tomorrow with the bowl games, football playoffs starting over the weekend. You guys have created a very interesting site I've been following for a long time, and it's in the fantasy world. Tell us a little bit about your site and what it offers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So at TradeSports.com, we offer daily event-based fantasy sports contests in which users can make predictions rather than dealing with the lineups or salary caps like the other daily fantasy sports sites in the space feature. So here's how it works. We have two-person head-to-head games to as many as 100-person contests, and our entry fees vary from $2 all the way to as much as $1,000. So prior to game time of each event, the contestants must predict a certain number of shares of 4 out of a total of 7 given props. So props are also referred to as propositions. They always are yes or no answers, and they always have a price between 0 and 100 based on the probability of the event occurring. If the result of that prediction ends in a yes, the prop expires at 100, and if no, it expires at 0. And profit and loss is determined based on the accuracy of your prediction. So if you predict something correctly with the right allocation of your $50,000 in fantasy funds that we give you right when you enter the contest, you have a better chance of winning. So using the Knicks and Nets for an example, say they're squaring off in a game this week. Props can be Knicks to win, which say they're 5-28 right now, so that might be at 35, 36%. Who knows? Another prop can be Knicks to win by more than the spread, which might be 3.5 points. Another prop can be more than 201.5 total points scored in a game. And we also feature different team statistics like rebounds, assists for basketball, and player stocks like Carmelo Anthony to score more than 24.5 points, or Jose Calderon to have more than 7.5 assists, stuff like that. So we take what's relevant and what matters to our fans, which is another thing that I think sets us apart. We can identify those trends based on social media, based on what people are talking about in the media. And say the Knicks were to go on, they're 5-28 now. Say they were to go on a 10-game winning streak, they would get back into the minds of the nation, and we'd be able to feature every one of their games moving forward as long as they're relevant.
Okay. But so, let's go to a specific event here. But we're gonna go let's say the Alabama Ohio State game here in a second. But once you have to do everything before the event starts, right? Once the event starts, I mean, your yes or no proposition's there, and the probability changes. Is there any maneuvering once the event starts?
Once the event starts, no.
Okay.
We found that our customers prefer the pregame predictions. In the past, we did feature a real-time game as well, but we do what our customers show us they love, and we found that they love this type of game.
Okay, so if let's say I have $25 that I could part with, and I want to get involved in the Alabama-Ohio State game. Walk me through it. I already have my account open. I have $25, and if I lose it, my wife's not going to get mad at me. Walk me through it here.
Absolutely. So what you do is you would go search. Are you on the contest page? You would go search for the Alabama game. I'm going to do it with you.
Okay.
One second.
I like the way
Okay.
you refer to the Alabama game and not the Ohio State game.
Yeah. They're heavily favored. Alabama is, but I think it should be a good one. I don't know. Two head coaches going up against each other that have some history there. I like it. Okay, so you can see that the entry fees range from $5.50 all the way up to $265, right? So you might think to join an $11 or $16.50 contest. So what you would do is you would enter that contest.
Okay.
Okay, and then on the next screen is where you would make your selection. So you can see the different stocks are Alabama to win by more than 9.5 points, over 58.5 total points scored in the game. Alabama to have more passing touchdowns than Ohio State. Alabama to have more total yards than Ohio State. Ohio State to have more rushing yards than Alabama, and Amari Cooper to finish with more than 99.5 receiving yards. So what you would do, you get $50,000 just for entering the contest. You get 50,000 fantasy dollars. Excuse me, I don't want to confuse anybody. And so you would allocate that 50,000 the best way that you see fit, making sure that you trade at least 100 shares on 4 different stocks.
Okay.
So as you can see, Alabama to win is priced at 67. Alabama to win by more than 9.5 points is priced at 50. So, there's a big difference there, and our users have adopted a bunch of different exciting strategies. And people are come from all different walks of life and all different. There are traders on our site, there are non-traders, just sports enthusiasts, and so everyone has a little bit of a different strategy, which makes it pretty exciting. So, we've seen all types of different strategies work. Some people decide to go, trade the minimum on 3 of the stocks and go all in with the rest of their funds on another. And some people like to evenly distribute it out. But the main factor is being accurate in your predictions. So,
And if you just let me get a quick point in here, and so if
yep,
you say like Alabama to win outright, that's at 67%, and you say no, then you're shorting that, right?
correct.
All right.
Correct.
And so if
Absolutely.
it comes in, so you got risk reward, and then if you think that they're going to win but not cover, I can see a lot of different strategies there.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So you can kind of do some spread trading there a little bit, huh, Dan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, exactly like you said. If you think Alabama's going to win, but a 10-point win, in a bowl game against Urban Meyer, you might not think that's going to happen. So you might, say no to Alabama winning, and you might, excuse me, you might say yes to Alabama winning, but no to Alabama winning by more than 9.5. It's all based on your particular strategy, your personal thoughts, the research that you can do all around the web. We determine our pricing in a very complex way using a bunch of different things, but these prices are as accurate as you
Yeah,
can get,
they're real time.
and
They're real
exactly.
time.
So
I'm a little torn, Dan, because I hate Ohio State. I'm the biggest Michigan fan, and so I don't want them to win. But then my daughter's theory and my dad's theory before he passed away was you want Ohio State to win, you want them to win the national championship, you want them to be undefeated, and then when they come into Ann Arbor next November, we crush them. So
yeah,
I'm kind of torn
yeah,
on that. All right, we only have a few minutes left here, and a great explanation here of the TradeSports platform, and we've got the football playoffs starting up, the NFL playoffs, the 12 teams of Christmas. 3 minutes here, and you told me you were people are a little bit more excited about that. Can just give us some sample products for that?
absolutely. Well, for NFL. Not only do we, feature the event based, so not only will we have the Cardinals versus the Panthers, but we'll also have head-to-head position player battles. So therefore, for the Lions and the Cowboys, for example, we have a contest that's Des Bryant versus Calvin Johnson. And the different props in that are, Des Bryant to have more than 7.5 receptions, Calvin Johnson to have a receiving touchdown, those kinds of things. So we not only have the event-based, but we also have position player battles that we do, and we also have pick'em styles. So therefore, we have pick'em styles every day across all different sports. So we've had NBA pick'ems, NHL pick'ems, and what happens with these is we have the to-win stock. So for this weekend, it could be Cardinals to win, Steelers to win,
Oh, combos.
Colts to win, Cowboys to win, etc. I mean, it works a little bit better when you're speaking of NBA, when you have more games on a daily basis. But based on the prices that we come up with, users have to trade 4 out of the 7 or 8 propositions, and they're all to win stocks or all to win versus the spread stocks. So you have to use your knowledge of a broad knowledge of across the whole sport in order to become victorious in those types of contests. So this weekend, we expect to see, and we've already seen some nice participation in the event-based stuff. The Cardinals and the Panthers should be an interesting game where the Cardinals are pretty much starting their 4th-string quarterback. The Panthers are 7-8-1 and in the playoffs. The Ravens and the Steelers. You got two AFC North guys, Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco. They've all been there. Le'Veon Bell might not play. That's a big storyline there. The Colts and the Bengals. Will Andrew Luck, who's been sliding a little bit recently, will he show up to play on Sunday against Andy Dalton? Will Andy Dalton take his team out of the game in prime time? He's been terrible in prime time.
You got it. Dan, I got to let you go here. We got one more guest to sneak on today, but a wealth of knowledge here. Dan Karpuc. He's TradeSports.com's director of content and TradeSportsInsider.com editor, bringing a whole new world of fantasy football, fantasy sports, draft duel. Thanks a lot, Dan. We are going to get you back on. Maybe we'll sneak you on back next week and see how the playoffs are evolving.
Absolutely. Be more than happy to. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.